You said
So looks like the stream was. Oh, okay. Good morning.
morning.
How are you doing?
Good. Thanks. All
Good.
right. I'm on Instagram.
You are okay. More.
All
Let me
right.
get my Instagram going here. Good morning. Ramona says good morning.
Morning, Ramona.
And let me go live there. Got Instagram going as well. Hey, we are live everywhere. Boom. What do you think about that?
All right. Rock on. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
How are you doing this morning?
Great. I'm just excited to be here.
I'm
First time podcaster, so this is a new thing for me.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
And your future podcasters, I'll see. I'm the first, right? You'll always remember me.
absolutely.
That's right. So,
Remember?
so let's. We only have 30 minutes, and I'm so excited to get you singing. So let's kind of just get started. And will you tell us just a little bit about yourself, and then how you got started into music?
Yeah, sure. So again, I'm Boom. I'm a singer-songwriter slash producer. I live here in Springfield, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville. And let's see, I grew up in the north. Actually, I'm a Chicago boy by birth, and I've lived all over the place. I've lived in like 6 different states since I was in high school. But Chicago will always be in my blood. Go Cubs.
Go Cubs! Yeah.
So that's I guess the basics about me. By trade, I'm a physical therapist. By day, by night, I'm a super awesome badass singer songwriter producer. So
Hey, what are you gonna do? It's
yeah,
kind of like Superman, right? You just change your cape and you go off to create some songs. That's funny. Now, I know when we were talking earlier, um,
Mhm.
you said that when you were in school, you were kind of shy. Tell us a little bit about like in school, and you didn't really sing at that time. So tell us a little bit about your history.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been writing songs since, gosh, high school, probably my freshman year of high school, which is longer ago than I care to admit. But I've never really been the type to play for others. I think I wrote a song for I was in a band in high school. Okay, fun story. I was in a band we were called Verbatim. We were terrible, um, terribly awesome, but terrible at the same time. No, it was just a bunch of us friends who had just sort of picked up our instruments, and I started on the drums because my brother played the drums, and we happened to have a drum set in the basement. So my brother very lovingly and very generously showed me the basics on the drums, and I picked up the drums, and so we played, and the other guys in the bands, they kind of wrote the songs for the most part. And one day I had a pen and paper, and I had a little tune in my head, so I kind of wrote a song out of it, and I brought it to them, and they looked at it and they're like, hey, these are actually really good lyrics. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe I have actually a little gift here. So I started kind of fostering that, but never really playing for other people or showing my music to other people. At the time, I didn't even play guitar, so I was more just pure lyrics, and the music was up here. Picked up the guitar when I was, I think, a freshman in college, thanks to my dad, who gave me the basics on the guitar, and I kind of took it from there. So it's been a family thing. But I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've just never really been one to self-promote and put myself out there. Probably fear of all the fears, fear of rejection, being a big one, fear of whatever, not being good enough, all those sorts of things that often hold us back from our deep desires, those crazy out there wild dreams and hopes that we have. I went like that, and I really, like, from that time, in truth, I wanted to be a songwriter. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to perform. But the little voices in my ears, the little critiques I got from other, just always kept me from doing that. And from when I would show my music to other people, I kind of got whatever. For a sensitive guy, and I'm sure this goes for a lot of people out there who may be listening, especially if you're an artist, because artists are by nature, we're sensitive people. And it's kind of a catch-22, because you have to be a sensitive artist to create something beautiful, but at the same time, that makes you very susceptible to criticism and very susceptible to the opinions of others. So, I took those things to heart. I thought, okay, I guess I'm not that great.
How did you overcome that?
Well, I mean, in truth, I probably wasn't that great, because it is when they first start out, right? Like,
right.
You have to suck for a while in order to not suck, and then you have to sort of not suck, and then you have to kind of
like levels of sucking, right?
Exactly. You have to get through the layers, the granite to the limestone, whatever, through the suckiness to the not so suckiness, until you're actually good. But it took many years. I ended up going to school to get my doctorate in physical therapy with shoulder. That's my degree back there. I went to school for almost 10 years to do that, and then finally got my degree and got a stable job with a good income, like Dad always said I should. And and it wasn't until that point when I was like, okay, maybe now I can pursue music.
So you put it aside for 10 years and focused on your degree?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean, and it wasn't wasted time by any means, because when you write, when you're an artist, when you make music, you can't not make music.
Right.
When it's inside of you, you can't help but let it out. I just never shared it. I never showed it to anybody. So you
wrote them down. You wrote your thoughts down and your lyrics down on paper, but you just set it aside.
Oh yeah, I wrote many songs. In fact, could I show you this? I have right underneath me here. I mean, I'll show you if I can get them out of here. I mean, these are all these are songs that I wrote over the last 20 years. So it never stops. Wow. And I view that time as sort of a crucible, a time that I was growing my skills as an artist, my skills as a writer. God used that time. Absolutely. If it's meant to be, it's never wasted time.
Sure.
So to answer your question, how I got over it, it's simple. I never did. Pretty simple. I mean, any performer will tell you that you'll always have that fear. If you're afraid of heights, you're always going to be afraid of heights.
That's good.
But you still have to climb the mountain if you want to get to see the scenery you want to see, right? And if you're afraid of rejection, you're probably always going to be afraid of rejection. But what is the very simple quote to kind of live by is do what scares you. So here I am doing what scares me. And anyway, so I got my first job as a physical therapist, worked for a couple of years, in kind of learning about the music business from podcasts and a class I took and all this stuff. And then finally decided, okay, it's time, and moved to Nashville. So.
Wow. Okay. So we're in Nashville. What does that look like?
Oof. Well, I mean, it's certainly a whole new level. Anybody who moves here will tell you the level of talent you encounter, it's just everybody, let's put it this way. Everybody here would be a big fish in a little pond elsewhere. I remember when I lived in Georgia for a while, and I would go to karaoke, and everybody was like, "Oh, your voice is so amazing. You should audition for American Idol," all this stuff. And, my ego. Everybody was so impressed with my singing voice. And then you move to a place like Nashville, and you're like, wow.
Back on sucking. We're going back down on the sucking ladder.
Exactly. So, you got to be prepared when you go here or when you move to Nashville to realize that you are not special in that way, because there's going to be someone who is going to be head and shoulders above you, and then there's going to be someone head and shoulders above them. And you go out on a normal Tuesday in Nashville, and you're going to find both of those people up on stage performing. So
Mm.
it can do either one of two things for you. It can either, it can either crush you and you can say, okay, maybe I'm not that good and I don't deserve to be here, or it can challenge you. And, the people who succeed are the ones who are going to be challenged. They're going to be kicked in the gut and say, man, I got to get better, and go home and get better. Right.
So when you're in Nashville, do you go to like local coffee shops, local bars? Like, how do you get yourself out there?
Yeah, sure. Well, the way of the world in Nashville is what's called writers' rounds.
Okay.
And what a writers' round is they're all over the place. Every other bar and restaurant has these things, and I just absolutely love them. Basically, they take anywhere from 2 to sometimes I see 4 or 5 writers up on stage. They're all playing their own music. Ooh, pardon me. And they basically, you just take turns, one person after the other, playing a song, telling a story, usually about where that song came from. Give me just a second. Sorry, my water went down the wrong throat there.
I hate that.
The wrong tube. Anyways, okay, I think we're good. Just tell a story about where this song came from, play the song, and then we move on to the next person. They do the same. And it's basically just a showcase of talent. So that's kind of the place where everyone starts. Go to a writer's round, you get a chance to mingle with people who are in the business from any level, people who are just starting out to, I've met people who've, I met, I went on a Tuesday, I met a guy who played on stage. He'd written, that was a good one. I met the guy who wrote the Paw Patrol theme song.
Really? That's fun.
And he played it for us at the writer's round. So that was the guy who wrote Tender Tennessee Christmas. I've seen that I saw that one Wednesday when I went out. Drop of Whiskey, which was the #1 hit. I got to meet that guy. Just you never know. And they're playing alongside of people that you've never even heard of. So it's just a menagerie of talent. And really a great opportunity to network and build relationships.
So somebody new in the industry, you would encourage them to go to Writers Round?
Yes, absolutely. That's the best place to start. Just go shake as many hands as you can, meet as many people as you can. And, I'm definitely not a social butterfly. I'm an introvert to the max. So it's a challenge. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of, I guess, courage to step into that role. But, when you really, really want it, it's got to do what scares you.
You got to do what scares you. You're exactly right. Now let's talk about your song, North of Nash.
Yeah.
It's something that you wrote. So tell us the story behind it, and then you're going to bless us with your singing, right?
Absolutely. That's the plan. So this is a song, as I mentioned, I'm a Chicago boy by birth. And it's interesting when you come to Nashville and when you want to write country music, first of all, if you know anything about the big names in country music and all that, it's pretty common tale. I'm from a small town in Kentucky or a small town in Tennessee. And, these are all people who were born and raised in the country. Well, I was not. I was raised in a suburb of Chicago. So I will openly admit I am not a country boy, but I do love country music. And, when I first started writing in the country space, that was kind of a point of, I guess, insecurity for me. Because probably the single most important thing you can do when you write music is to be transparent and honest, because the listener can tell the difference. People can see right through fake, and phoned in. So I kind of had to ask myself, how do I write about something that I wasn't raised in and be honest about it? And I was like, can I really do this? Do I belong in this space? Do I need to reconsider? I was just sitting one day, and actually it was a friend of mine who challenged me we were doing a songwriting challenge to write 2 songs write and produce 2 songs in a month. This was almost exactly a year ago, actually. And I was kind of sitting thinking, and I realized instead of being insecure about it, I should write a song to celebrate that fact.
Nice.
Because I think there are a lot of people out there in the same boat as me who love
Sure.
country and love the music and love the lifestyle, but weren't really born into it. So that's really what this song is all about. It's my my country song for Yanks.
Awesome.
So let's see here. I'm going to pull this up.
And I'm going to write the title in our chat. So if anybody wants to.
All right. All right. This is North and Ash. Got no honky tonks or Broadway Avenue. We got places where we shake all the dust on Broadway. May not have country stars or those old rural roots, but we can get it with a 60 just like they do. Whether we in NYC, live in London, LA, if Chi-Town is my town, till lift our voices and say, hey, yeah, come on, let's get some southern slang. Gonna run, fall in love, and let the guitar ring. Got that city blood, still shit or jump with the past. Getting tipsy, shooting wasted like the diamond of glass. Let's spend some cash, raise a glass. Where you at? North and Nash. Hey! They say you guys, well, we all say y'all. Still crazy for some lazy and some in the crawl. We in our SUVs, you in your 4x4. When the music starts moving, we all hit the floor. We high like in rock, like Philly DA. Face you, shake it too. Yo, that feel away. Hey, hey, come on, let's get some southern slang. Gotta run, fall in love, and let them get on rain. We got that city blood, still get it done with the best. Getting tipsy, shooting whiskey like the top of the class. Spend some cash, raise a glass. Where you at? North and Nash. Take your stepping up in Boston. In rodeo in Ohio. Oh, 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 even Detroit, they got some good old boys. Let the good time roll. Hey, hey, come on, let's hear some southern slang. Cut a rug, fall in love, and let them put on rain. We got that city blood, still get it done with the best. Getting tipsy, shooting whiskey like the top of the class. Hey, yeah, come on, let's hear some southern slang. Cut a rug, fall in love, and let them put on rain. We got that city blood, still get it done with the best. Getting tipsy, shooting whiskey like the top of the class. Getting tipsy, shooting whiskey like the top of the class. Getting tipsy, shooting whiskey like the top of the class. Spin some cash, raise a glass. Where you at? North and Nash. Woo! Where you at, North and Nash? Come on. Oh, yeah.
Woo! Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so enjoyable.
Absolutely.
I love it. So you wrote that. So can you walk us through your songwriting process? Like, what's that look like? For me, I am challenged in all ability of singing, writing songs, anything. So if I wanted to write a song, can you walk me through the steps?
Well, I mean, there's, like in your, oh, hold on, let me turn off my reverb here so I'm not echoing in your ear. There we go. Like any art, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. For me, it usually starts with a title for the most part. I have what I call my hook book. And that basically is, as I walk throughout my day, I hear someone say something, or, I hear something on a movie or on TV or, anywhere from any, sometimes it just comes out of thin air. And I think, wow, that's a great title, or that's a great lyric. And I put it in my hook book.
Okay.
In this case, in that song, for example, I remember I was sitting on my front porch, on my little swing there. And I don't remember exactly what the context was, but I was talking to somebody about where I lived. I think I was trying to set up a co-write or something like that, and talking about them coming over to my studio. And I say, "Oh, I live just north of Nash." And it just kind of smack in the face, like, "Hey, that's a great lyric." And I as I kind of dug into it, you develop an instinct. As I dug into it, I was like, that kind of describes my whole thing that I'm doing here. I'm from north of Nash, and I think a lot of people are also from north of Nash, and will identify with that idea. So that's where it starts.
Okay.
And then, gosh, from there, it's kind of hard to explain. I just you have to put in the work, really.
Okay.
If you are a person who's going to wait for inspiration to strike and for God or the universe to tell you what lyrics to write, you're not going to make it very far in this business. It is work. You have to sit down and you have to hammer out. The hardest part is getting started. How to come up with that first line. And so usually for me, it's kind of a trial and error thing, I guess. I just write down the first line that comes to my head. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. And I start to build off of that, and then I go back and I edit that first line, and then I move on to the second line, and so on and so forth. It can be very frustrating. It's one of those things. I think one of the best quotes I've heard about following, about writing anything or creating any sort of art is, I'm going to butcher it, but essentially it's, sometimes you have to fight for inspiration. You can't give up. Sometimes inspiration needs to be pursued. Sometimes it's waiting right over the next hill. Okay. And when you're getting exhausted and you're tired and you're like, this is not here. Actually, it's funny. You should say this and it's funny we should be doing this right now, because literally it was a year ago, I think Thursday, that I was writing this song. And I know that because I posted a thing on Facebook, and you know how it gives you Facebook memories. It was a photo of me laying on the couch with my guitar across my chest and the dogs on my leg. My dog's laying on top of me on my legs, looking exhausted. And I wrote something like, when you're exhausted, but you got to find that hook.
That's good.
And it's awesome. True. I literally, I was so tired. I was like, I'm just so tired. I need to take a nap. I was like, but I have to write this song. I have to write this song. So I was literally laying on my couch, maybe if I doze off, the hook will come to me.
And then look, a year later, and
here we are.
That's great. Jody said that was amazing, and Ramona wants to know where she could buy the song at.
I appreciate that. Both of you guys. I actually have not released it yet. But I'm in the process of figuring out when exactly that's going to happen. So stay tuned. If you find me on my socials, I'll be vamping up more and more to that release date in the next few months here. So
cool.
You can find me.
Check back with me and let me know, and then I post it on my social too.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Ramona or whoever can go out there and get it. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And this will be my first actual single that I've released. So I'm excited about it.
That is awesome.
I've co-written other songs that have been released, but this will be my first release as a songwriter. So it's exciting.
Who are your musical influences?
Great question. So many. I started writing. The band that probably inspired me to start writing music at all was Jars of Clay. Are you familiar with Jars of Clay?
I'm not. No, I'll have to Google it.
They're an old Christian band from back when I was a kid. they were kind of a breakout band that kind of took Christian music into its golden years, from where it was like kind of campy and we'll be honest, it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And then Jars of Clay kind of came on the scene, and they created this beautiful, folky, sort of with country influences, music that we'd never heard before. And for me, it was the lyrics. Their lyrics were just so beautiful and reached me on such a deep level. I remember I was like, I got to write stuff like that. It was the first time I ever thought to myself, I want to write stuff. Was my music. So that they're my
shout out to them, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They showed me what lyrics can be, and I've ever since I've always kind of sought to create that kind of beauty in my lyrics. More modern influences. Let's see. I mean, of course, I kind of lean into the pop space, so I'm a fan of Morgan Wallen. John Party is another one I really enjoy. Luke Combs, the main big names out there. But really, I just kind of surround myself with all different types of country music, so I can write with as many different types of people as possible.
That's great. Getting it's good that you're not putting yourself in a jar, I guess I should say, that you're open to all kinds of genres.
Yeah. And, pros will tell you pick a lane. And that's true. Early on, everybody wants to be able to write everything. I want to write pop, I want to write rock, I want to write country, whatever. But the beautiful thing about country, and this is kind of one of the reasons I chose this genre, is because it is so eclectic. Country pop, country rock, you name it, it's been mixed in with country. Even like
That's
rap isn't really my thing, but it could be.
You just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's nice to have all those options.
That's great, Vim. Well, we are down to the last couple of minutes of our podcast. So at this time, I always like to give the floor to my guest and just leave some words of wisdom to our listeners.
Sure, absolutely, no pressure. No, I mean, if I could give anybody, honestly, any wisdom, it's, first of all, I guess there's two main things I would think of. First of all, be true to yourself. And if you have a fire in your belly, don't quench it. Don't quench it. Don't push it down in spite of what other people may think. Because, I'm not old by any means, but, I've had this dream for some 20 years now. And it wasn't until the last 5 that I actually started pursuing it. And sometimes it's frustrating to think where I could be had I followed my heart back when I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? And done what I truly, truly believed I was meant to do and truly am meant to do. So don't let the opinion of others, don't let the fear of, rejection, all those things, name your fears and face them, I guess is what it comes down to.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I just put your Facebook profile page in our chat. So the people that are not your friends, they can link and see what's going on. And give a plug. What's your next venture, and what do you have going on?
North and Ash is my main thing that I'm working on right now. I may be releasing a song between now and when I release that song. I'm kind of up in the air on that. I knew that 2024 was going to be a year of releasing music, so stay tuned, and I'll be plugging all that stuff on my social media.
Nice. Well, thank you, Boomer. It was so nice having you on my program.
Michelle, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And thank you, everybody that participated. And just reach out to Boomer on his Facebook, and he will be updating all of his future endeavors.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Right. Bye-bye.
See you guys.